Hey, this is Scott from Maine Oven Craft. We're going to do venison burgers in the wood-fired oven today. This is venison that I was able to get off of our property last year, and in particular, I'm a kind of a fanatic about how I grind venison. So this is double ground venison, super tender. It's actually blended with some sausage, some Italian sausage from a pig that a friend of ours raised, and also some additional venison sausage that our uh, best friend Garrett has donated to this particular lunch mix. So we're going to do venison burger, uh, some nice medallion Yukon Gold potatoes, and then we have a smorgasbord of toppings that we're going to let everybody top their burgers with. And actually, for Gray, we're going to do some Impossible Burger right over there. Hey, the experimental things that I'm excited about we're going to do today is we're going to cook a portion of the burgers directly on the hearth. Then we're going to cook another portion of the burgers in a cast iron pan. And within those two loads of burger, we're going to experiment with putting a small stick of wood on and then snuffing the fire out while the burgers are inside to really try to drive some smoke flavor into the burger. I've done this before a few times, but it's been several years, and I think it'll be a great teaser to sort of see whether that flavor pops for everybody and have different palates experiment with it. The other thing we're going to do is play with a little grill that we've made that's, I wouldn't say a copy, but inspired by lots of other versions that are out there on the interweb. And we're going to start by lighting a fire in that. And at the same time, we're going to put the potatoes in the oven, knowing that they're going to probably be a 15-minute cook. That'll give us just enough time to get the fire going on the portable / collapsible fire pit and have that wood burn down to coals and have it be ready for the thing that we're going to cook first on that, which is the bacon. We have a griddle accessory for that fire pit that we'll cook the bacon on. And then we may also experiment with cooking a single or maybe two burgers on the grill portion of that. So grill cooking, on the hearth cooking, in a pan cooking, and then in the oven we're going to experiment with a little bit of smoking as well. So stick around, and I hope that everything turns out well. One of the experimental things that I'm excited about All right, so this particular piece of equipment that we're going to unconventionally use as a cooking surface because we want to utilize the hood is our high definition plasma table. Anything that we make in sheet form, our domes, our bigelows, anything that we can simplify by cutting, we utilize this machine for. And it's amazing, and it really is the heart of the technology in our fabrication shop. And in this case, it's a great platform along with this hood to exhaust the smoke and the heat. This is our little portable grill that breaks down flat. It has a little integrated heat shield that keeps the wood that's beneath it, if you choose to use it on a wooden table, somewhat safe. It's not a perfect reality, but it's certainly far safer than without this heat shield. And I've used it a ton. This is mine from home, which is why it's used and rusty. I don't really take care of it. I leave it outside and let Mother Nature do its work to it. We're going to go ahead and fire it up with some finely split hardwood. Similar method to how we set up to fire in a wood-fired oven, a little crisscross log cabin method. In this version, I basically split up maybe 3 or 4 pieces of wood this big to create this volume of wood. But this is all we'll need once we establish it and let it burn down to coals to do several burgers. I mean, you could fill up the whole griddle top. So we're going to use this griddle first to do our bacon on, and then the grill to do our burgers. But before we put those on, we're going to let this fire burn down to coals. and really establish well to give a good base. I prefer doing this versus using natural charcoal or conventional charcoal, just because I like to watch the fire, and it's a kind of a really cool lead up to the actual cooking process. So we'll finish this with what we call a top down burn of a fine layer of softwood pieces. These will light, and then they'll preheat the wood beneath them, and you'll watch it kind of ignite in a really natural sort of pace. We're going to go ahead and turn the hood on. Softwood's amazing. It just lights so quickly. Of course, the torch doesn't hurt. This is usually about 20 minutes. I would say 20 to 25 minutes that this pile of wood will take to convert to coals and then be ready for us to put the griddle on or the grill. My hope is to do the bacon, like I said, first for the burgers as a topping, and then we'll transition to a burger on the actual grill accessory right after that, and make sure we're preserving the heat energy left in the coal bed that'll be beneath. This is our little... All right, while we're waiting, let's put a little avocado oil, which is a high heat oil, on these burgers. Sure, we get a really easy release, whether we're cooking on the hearth or in cast iron or on the Maine Metal Craft grill or grill. There. While we're here, let's go over and give the potatoes a little stir. Moving along quickly. You can see, even without an actual stick burning, we still have a ton of heat based on how those are cooking. I can put it in. Okay. All right. Yeah, we're on. We're getting super close here. Some toasty guys in there. Let's find a thick one. Do a little taste test. They're done. Yum. Now, let's go take a look at the grill fire and see how that's coming along. We pulled the potatoes out. We checked on the fire over there on the grill. I added another stick of wood in this fire, knowing that the coal bed was going down and we have all these burgers to cook. And you may also be interested to know what this is in the background. This is a cold smoker prototype that I designed and built for our friend Amy Rowbottom from Crooked Face Creamery maybe 10 years ago when she was just starting. Maybe it hadn't been longer than that. And at the time, she was experimenting with smoking different cheeses. In the end, the cheese that really has stood out for her and really helped make her successful is her cold smoked ricotta. She now has a more commercialized smoker that she's able to have set up indoors, but this was the first variation on that, and we were super pumped to make it. And when she was not able to continue using this because of food regs, I was able to buy it back from her, and I've toyed with different avenues that I could go with it, whether it's making it convertible from cold smoking to warm smoking, having sort of different bolt up inserts. We just brought it out because friends of ours asked what its status was, and I thought it would be cool to bring it out, let them see it, and then they're going to experiment with long browning some salmon fillets, and then we're going to do some cold smoking tests in here to see how the fish turns out. The only thing this smoker has ever seen is cheese, so this will be a great offshoot experiment, honestly. So I'm excited to see how that turns out. All right, we're jumping the gun a little bit on this, but we need the bacon. The burger process is about to start across the way with the oven. So we don't have our full coals yet, but we're going to move the bacon on and off this griddle pretty quickly, and we'll be just fine. Griddle's on, and let's put some bacon on. Pretty thin bacon. Dancing with the devil here with the flame coming up the sides. Pretty thin cuts. Cook super fast. I hear Obi barking in the background. I don't know if you camp a lot, but this is one of my favorite tools to use while we're camping. I love cooking over live fire. Wait on those last three. All right, we'll take these last ones off. Bring these over to the cutting board. And we'll also take this griddle top off, put it on top of the grill to let the fire continue. We'll use some of the oil on top of the grill. Take this over. A little avocado oil on the bottom. Get this guy nice and hot inside before putting the burgers in. And on the other side, I'm going to sweep the deck a little bit. If you watched our other video when we cooked the steaks, this is exactly where, underneath the brush where we cooked them. And I dragged the coals over and left them overnight, and there's not a single bit of evidence that there's oil stains left from that event. These guys are finished masonry heaters that we really ultimately were the foundation of our business for the first 35 years. My dad Albie built this one and the one that we have over there. We fire them every day in the morning when everybody gets here, and then again we fill the fireboxes back up at lunch. They're a great source of heat, and if you're adventurous enough, they're also great to cook in. And in this case, we're going to cook above in the oven. We're going to do these veggie burgers in the oven. Put There's tons of heat in here that's always usable when we're using these heaters. As soon as we hit May, though, it's likely we'll stop. So go and open this oven up. It's a little dusty, but it's super warm in there. I'm gonna cook these veggie burgers in there. We'll close the door and just crack it and come back in a couple minutes and make sure that we're okay. Flip them. Forgot the cheese. We'll put this back in for just 30 seconds and get it melted up. Yeah, forgot the cheese. All right, we're back here. We're gonna flip these guys on the hearth. Pull out the other pan. Do a little probe check. Ooh, looking good. 32, 35, 32. Let's flip them and pull them a little bit more toward the front. That way the heat's less intense. At this point, we could almost put some cheese on. Maybe we'll move these over a little bit. Looks like the guys in the oven on the hearth are ready to go. Look at that beautiful smoke coming up. These ones have Swiss on them. Before I rake the coals over on the hearth, I'm going to go ahead and toast my bun. That's the way I like it. I'm going to choose one of these onion focaccias here. Ciabatta, I'm sorry. Put it on the hearth. We're going to be kind of more up front with it. That way it's not so quick to burn. Like we're there. I love this grill. They are. All right, time for assembly. These guys are good to go in here. I am a mayo guy on my burger, strangely enough. Mayo, a bit of mustard. My little spread. I'm going to go with one of the horseradish cheddar versions here. Some tomato, red onion, avocado, some of these scallions actually. Some shaved down garlic dill spears, which aren't staying on very well. And then some pieces of lettuce. Let's see if we can squish this down. There's some pickles. Okay. I'm excited. So good. Venison burgers in the oven.